So today I wanted to capitalize on this beautiful fall day. It's only about 8 degrees, but it's sunny and beautiful out. And I had a specific place in mind that I wanted to come to do the video today. And not taking into account that now that it's fall, there's more water around. We're getting a lot more rain. And so the spot I normally come to had a creek that I needed to cross in order to get here that wasn't here last time I was here. And I didn't wear my rubber boots, and I thought, oh, how can I get across here? And then I thought, I can take off my shoes. So I took off my shoes and I went across barefoot in 8-degree weather, and then I walked along the beach here in my bare feet, and I got to do some very valuable grounding. And all during the summer I go for my barefoot woods walks, but in the fall I don't do it quite as much. But with everything that we're going through right now in 2020, it's more important than ever to remain grounded and to really help to connect to the earth, and also to calm any anxiety that we may be experiencing, because there's a lot of anxiety-inducing events going on. And so I really like to connect with the earth and ground whenever possible. And I don't get as much of that when it's colder, but it was wonderful to take off my shoes, and the creek was surprisingly warm, and yeah, the ground was surprisingly warm walking over here too. So yeah, just a little grounding tip whenever you can. If it's sunny outside and warm enough, take off your shoes and get in the grass or get in the dirt and just connect with that earth, because it will really help to ground you, connect you with the earth, and to calm any anxiety or disconnection that you may be feeling. Okay, so all that aside, today I wanted to come to you and talk to you about chronic miasms. I'm about to start another series. I have done a series on Heilkunst constitutions, and I just wrapped up a series on Heilkunst phenotypes. And now I'm heading into the chronic miasm series. So my name is Stacey, and I'm a Heilkunst practitioner and creator of the Express Your Truth 8-Step Emotional Empowerment Program. And I wanted to talk to you about chronic miasms because, well, they're endlessly interesting, but it also gives people a lot of perspective on the things that are going on with them, and they understand what's passed down through families, because chronic miasms are actually chronic inherited diseases that get passed down. So they get passed down through up to 7 generations. And a lot of them start off as infectious diseases, not all of them, but a lot of them. And so as they get passed down, the people who inherit them don't obviously have the active disease, but they have a genetic predisposition because of that family history. And so even if you don't have the physical symptoms of a chronic miasm, you can actually see it in the state of mind. So there's 8 chronic miasms, and they all have a unique state of mind, a unique way of thinking, kind of like a personality type. So if you've watched the phenotype videos, then you'll kind of get an idea of how those disease states can shift our personality and the way we think. And so miasms do that as well. And so with the 8 miasms, they all have a season, which is about 6 weeks long. And so we shift every 6 weeks into a new miasm season that affects sort of what goes on in our life. It affects our physical symptoms, it affects our state of mind. So let's take tuberculosis for an example, because tuberculosis is one of our miasms. So if someone in your family history, going back 7 generations, contracted tuberculosis, it can get passed down. So you would have a genetic predisposition towards certain physical issues. So with tuberculosis, obviously there's a lot of lung issues. So a person who suffers with asthma or chronic bronchitis could potentially have a family history of tuberculosis, and that's where that stems from. So each of the miasms will have about a 6-week period during the year where they're more active. So, like I said, there's 8. So the original miasm is SORA, and that's the miasm I'm going to start talking about next week. And so with SORA, there's a real lack mentality. It's our itch disease. It's all about dryness and lack. And I'll get into that more next week. And the season for SORA starts in September, goes till about mid-October. And then moving from mid-October to the end of November, we have malaria season. And so malaria is all about feeling like you're at the mercy of outside forces. And also there's a lot of flu-like symptoms with that. And then moving from December into mid-January, we've got tuberculosis, which I've already mentioned. After tuberculosis, we head into inherited ringworm. And so with ringworm, it's kind of like the February blahs. The mentality around that is wants to, but can't. And I'll talk more about that when I get into the ringworm miasm description. And then after ringworm, we head into what's called metarhinum. And so metarhinum is actually the remedy that we use to treat that miasm. Hahnemann discovered the metarhinum miasm, 200 odd years ago, and he called it psychosis with an S. So it's a little bit confusing, and it's also actually inherited gonorrhea. So neither of those things are very comfortable to talk about with people, and so we call it metarhinum. And metarhinum is people, A-type personalities. They're on the go all the time. And then after metarhinum, we head into carcinosin season. So carcinosin is all about self-sacrificing, doing things out of obligation. After the carcinosin season, we're heading into June. We head into inherited syphilis season. And inherited syphilis is all about self-destruction. And I'll explore that topic again more when I talk about inherited syphilis. And then the final miasm, which brings us up to September again, so throughout August pretty much, is the Lyme miasm, inherited Lyme. And so inherited Lyme is all about having to take care of everything because no one else will, or no one else will do it right. Okay, so those are the 8 miasms that I'm going to be exploring in this series. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel and ring the little bell, so then you'll get a notification when I put out the videos. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you next week when I talk about Sora.